It's actually been the longest spring break ever. Your kids went to spring break, never went back to school. And though it looks different from city to city, kids are starting to go back to school now. So I want to say you made it. The past 6 months were a blur for so many of us, but we packed it in. You stocked the pantry, learned more about aerosols than they teach in medical school, perfected the fashion of mask wearing, and hunkered down at home. And speaking of home, you also learned to make homeschool happen. And you thought you would never be a homeschool family. I bet you even had Spirit Week, starting with Meltdown Monday. I want to know, who are these women who had time to take up knitting and sourdough bread baking? I want to know their secret. My life has been packed. And if you're like me, life looks a little bit like this room. Let me explain. What you see behind me is the aftermath of not having the time I needed to adapt to our new normal in, shall we say, an organized fashion? Do you ever get so busy that the thing that doesn't get done is putting stuff away? One specific room became the place where I dumped everything. Well, guess what? This weekend, my in-laws showed up. Surprise! We had to put the guest bedroom back in order, aka put some of it away and move the rest in here to my home office. Can you say hoarding? This bag right here was packed for a trip to Mexico in March. March, my friends. It's time for what I really want to talk about to you about, and it's not the petri dish that's probably growing in my purse. I want to give you biblical perspective on packing it in. Boy, have we. And we need to look at everything through the lens of God's Word, including this, how busy and complicated life has been. For some reason, when I thought about how much we've packed into this year, it made me think of this verse from Luke 6:38. It says, "Give, and it will be given to you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over, will be put into your lap. For with the measure you use it, it will be measured back to you." Now let me get on my soapbox labeled Bible verses taken out of context for just a moment. Luke 6:38 wins a blue ribbon. Preachers who need money like to make it about filling the offering plate, but Jesus wasn't talking about money. Another thing I've seen people use it to talk about is time. At Christian camp, I actually heard a speaker read this verse. Get out a bag of potato chips, open it, squish them so there was even more air in the bag than they sell to us, and fill it with bag after bag after bag of more chips. And they used it to say, this is how we need to use our time. Jesus wasn't talking about our time. For the record, I've never understood the potato chip thing, but the crushed and messy thing I get. So now I call this my potato chip verse. What's that you say? Let's read what's around Luke 6:38 to get the context right. Well, I'm glad you asked. Let's read Luke 6:36 to 42. Be merciful, even as your Father is merciful. Judge not, and you will not be judged. Condemn not, and you will not be condemned. Forgive, and you will be forgiven. And now here's our verse. Give, and it will be given to you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over, and it will be put into your lap. For with the measure you use it, it will be measured back to you. Now that we've placed this verse in its proper context, let's talk. If we took the potato chip verse out, there would be no question what this is really about. Forgiveness. Why, out of nowhere, would Jesus change the subject and start talking about giving money and time away? He didn't. He wouldn't. Here's one perspective we need right now. Don't judge the woman next to you. Be merciful to the mom who's made a different school choice, mask choice, political party choice than you. Don't condemn the person who's wearing a mask, and don't condemn the person who's not. You don't know their story. Jesus is telling us to give forgiveness and mercy in great measure. And when we do, he pours it generously on us. I wonder, have you been full of judgment? Are you giving a best friend the silent treatment because she let you down when she kept her kid home from school? Stop. Let's pour out generous amounts of forgiveness and mercy right now, starting with you. Ask God to forgive you for judgmental and unmerciful comments that you may have posted on Facebook. And let's start thinking of giving. Not money, not time, forgiveness. Because if you're stressed out about the mess you see in this room, but not the clutter in your own heart, you've got a bigger problem than what science project might be happening in your unpacked for 6 month handbag. Out of the heart, the mouth speaks. Do you know how many times the Bible tells us that? 9. I looked it up today. So here's what I want you to start packing into your day. Forgiveness and mercy. And may it be pressed down and shaken together for you.